Now, you as a detective, sir, you go hands-on out to the crime scenes and you take, explain that to us.
Yes, sir. Well, in particular with a department our size, it is more hands-on on my part. Uh, Typically, crimes that occur during shifts when I'm working anyway, I will be an immediate response unit.
Right.
But after hours crimes, the most important thing for me is to be able to process the scene thoroughly and completely. And then that allows us as a department, as well as supporting departments depending on the crime, to be able to develop our leads for our suspects to determine which direction to go from there.
Which brings me to another thought. People don't realize how dangerous some of these crime scenes can be because, if you got somebody that's been making bacon meth, that's a dangerous area. It could be deadly.
It is, and with crime scenes, that in several aspects is the most important thing for us. First of all, containing the scene. Secondly, the safety of the scene, and outside of that, the safety of the public to the scene. Things such as meth labs, even crime scenes where you have an assault, you have a murder, something like that. If we have public trying to come into our scene, we may or may not have been able to secure that entire scene yet. We don't know what we can be subjected to from people coming in. We don't know what they could be subjected to by bringing themselves in. And then lastly, it affects our investigation because the more people that come into this area, the more it degrades our scene, the more it degrades our evidence, the less that we can even use.
Exactly, and you got these one-step meth labs now that people riding in their cars has got this in there, and if they was to get in a collision or whatever, it would just explode.
Absolutely, and we have seen that happen. We do know of several suspects who have been burned by their own actions, by simply taking a bottle, if you will, and what they call burping, and burping that thing and exploding into their face.
Young people especially don't know the dangers of these drugs, and that's why that we're getting all these different programs here to explain you don't need this stuff because it is so dangerous, and one time could kill you. They don't realize that this is made with all these different chemicals, and just stay away from it.
Absolutely, stay away from it. If you see it, report it.
Exactly. And this time of year also marijuana is a big issue. They start cultivating marijuana, you start finding it. If we as the public spot something, what do we need to do?
You need to contact your local law enforcement agency.
Okay. And what are ways that they can call you at the Barbourville Police Department?
Well, there are several ways. If it's an emergency, you can always call 911. You can also call the 546-3441, also 546-4562.
4562. And if somebody wanted to tell you some information, it's confidential.
That's correct. We actually have a drug/theft report tip line. That's 546-DRUG.
Okay. What about things like issues like domestic violence? That seems to be on the uprise as well. A lot of people, a lot of families, whether it be husband or wife, boyfriend or girlfriend, mother or daughter, you see all this domestic violence on the rise. What are ways that we can handle that?
Well, in particular, we encourage women to not stay there. To step out to a safe area, to call for help, and to allow themselves to receive that help. That is one of the issues that is very similar to the things that you do see on TV with domestic violence, is you see people returning back to that over and over again. And unfortunately, it is one of those things that it does get worse over time. It does not get better. Each time that it happens, it's going to get worse. And you don't know at what point that's going to stop. You don't know what step it's going to jump to. It may go from something simple straight to someone being murdered. There's no way of predicting exactly what's going to come in between. We just know that there is a process to it, that it starts here and then it stops here. And that's all we can say on it.
And there's so many cases where it has caused death, you know, whether it be a girl or a boy or whatever, it's caused somebody's life to end because of things that could have been helped and could have been stopped by just simply, like you said, get away from it.
It has, and unfortunately, we're seeing drugs on the rise.
Mm-hmm.
We're seeing property crimes on the rise. Both of those are hand in hand, but also with the economy right now.
Mm-hmm.
We're still seeing more property crimes related to the economy. The worse the economy is, the worse the drugs are, the more problems that you're going to see at home as well.
Right. Now, how long have you been with the police department?
12 years.
Barbourville Police Department, 12 years. And, you know, throughout the years, I'm sure both of you have seen so much that could have been helped. Accidents, fatalities on the highways that could have been stopped simply by doing the right thing, making the right choice.
Simply just following the rules of the road.
Mm-hmm.
Those accidents could have been prevented.